50 in the table of contents is review circles and parallelograms. So we're reviewing circles and parallelograms. That's where we saw a lot of mistakes. Very common mistakes, very correctable mistakes for the test. So page 50, review circles and parallelograms. After we've got that written in, turn over to page 50. So page 50 at the top, review circles and parallelograms. So we're reviewing our areas and our perimeters and our circumferences of these shapes. So we're going to talk about our circles first. So we have a circle that has a center. From that center we have some radius. First we're going to talk in general terms, and then we're going to do a problem with actual numbers. So we have a radius. What do we know about the relationship between a radius and a diameter? Colin?
The radius is from the center to the edge, and diameter is either two of those or the edge to the other edge.
So essentially the radius is, or two radiuses is the diameter, is what Colin said. So two radiuses equal our diameter. Another thing that we can review is what's that mystery ratio that we found on Monday? We found pi, and what number did I tell you to use? 3.14. If you do not have access to the number, or the pi, the complete value of pi, the pi button on your calculator, use 3.14 for that value. 3.14 goes on forever, but this is as far as necessary to give us our answers. So two r's, two radiuses equal our diameter, and pi equals 3.14. So what was our formula for our area of a circle? We had a little saying, and we also had a formula. Apple pie is R2, and Jordan, what does that translate to? Good. So pi, radius to the second power. So area equals pi r squared, or apple pies R2. What happens if we were given a diameter and we're asked to find the area? What do we do with that diameter? Skylar.
Then you take like the diameter and you take half of it, and then you do area equal pi, then whatever you got.
Good. So on some of ours we plugged in our diameter for our radius into our circumference, or not our, for our area formula. So there's a common mistake there. So make sure when you're asked to find the area that we're using working with radiuses. So if they're given the diameter, like Skylar says, divide the diameter by 2. So what was our circumference formula? We had 2 of them that we could work with. So let's think about this for a second, everybody. What was our circumference formula? We had 2 different ones. Luis. Jordan. So we had 2 times r times pi. 2 pi r, it's 2r pi. It's multiplication, so it's all. I'm writing it this way so it's a little bit clearer for you to see, even though it's all multiplication. You're just going to take 2 times the radius times pi. What happens if you're given the diameter? You could cut it in half, or what does 2r equal? So if we were given the diameter, you can multiply pi times d. All right, so let's work through a problem. Let's say we're given a circle with a diameter of 12 feet. And we're asked to find the circumference and the area. So if we're looking for the circumference, and where we were given a diameter, a d, which one of these 2 do you think we're going to use if we're given a diameter?
Then I would use pi d.
I'd use pi d because we were given d. So our circumference is equal to 12 pi. And if we don't have pi on our calculator, what number are we using? 3.14. So, in our calculators, 12 times 3.14, that equals 37.68. And now we're rounding this to the nearest 10th. There was a lot of rounding errors on our quiz. Did you use the actual physical number for pi? Did you use the button for pi?
Yeah.
I used the button, or 3.14. So, it's very close, right? So, if we're rounding to the nearest 10th, what is our answer going to be? 37.7. So our circumference is equal to 37.7 what? Feet. Paige asks, is circumference squared? What's our answer?
No,
Why not?
because it's not the area.
Because it's not the area. It's like the perimeter of a circle. So now we're going to look at the area. So our area of this circle with a diameter of 12, now we need to find our area. What are we going to do?
It'd be pi radius to the second power.
So pi times the radius to the second power. What's the radius?
6.
It's not 12?
No, because 12 is the diameter.
12 is the diameter, so we need to do what with the diameter?
Divide by 2.
Divide by 2, which gives us 6 squared. So, 6 squared equals 36, and we're going to go back to our calculator, and we're going to take 36, and this time I'm going to use pi, just so it shows that it both work. We hit enter. We got 36 pi.
You put the 2 arrow thing.
We need to push this 2 arrow button that tells it to expand. It's right above our enter button. And we got 113 and 0.0973355. So if we're rounding this one to the nearest hundredth, we're just practicing rounding. If we're rounding, why is it 0.10, Skylar?
Because if you're rounding the 9 up, then you're rounding it to 10, which is 0.10.
And since you're rounding to the nearest hundredth, you have to have that placeholder for that value. So this one we're rounding to the nearest hundredth, and we got 113.10. And what is our units here?
You can take the feet squared.
Okay, on Scoop Pad, you guys have asked around to the nearest tenth, and your answer got, some of you guys got, for example, 5, and you got it wrong. It asked for 5.0, right? That's why you guys got that wrong. So, if you're rounding to the nearest hundredth, we got 113 and 10 hundredths. And our units are feet squared. Now we need to move on to parallelograms. So we have a parallelogram. What makes a parallelogram a parallelogram?
That's 2 sets of parallel sides.
2 sets of parallel sides. How do you find the perimeter of a parallelogram?
Just side plus side plus side plus side.
Side 1 plus side 2 plus side 3 plus side 4. What if you're given this height?
Then that's how you find the area.
That's how we find the area. Some of us incorporated this height in the perimeter and got our answers off. So, when you're looking at the perimeter of something, just like we did the circumference, anything the string touches on the outside is the perimeter. Nothing on the inside is perimeter. So we're given a height and we have sides. And I heard our area formula. What's our area formula for a parallelogram? Length times width, base times height. But we're given, make sure that we're using this value because, once again, we don't take how tall we are like this, right? So, base times height. Let's do a quick example before we get out of here. We have a height of 4, a 6, and an 8. What's our perimeter here? We're only given 2 numbers that are our side lengths, right? Jesus. The side opposite of each other are the same thing. So we have 6 and 8.
28.
So we have 6 plus 8 plus 6 plus 8, and that equals 28. And there are feet. So we have 28 feet. Our area. What does our area equal? How are we going to set this up in our formula? 8 times 4. Which equals 32. And what about our units?
Feet.
What about our feet?
Feet squared.
Feet squared. Why is it feet squared?
Because you want it.
Because it's the area. Ladies and gentlemen, listen up. Stop packing up. Listen to me. All eyes on me.